afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 6th meeting of Old Dominion University's Student Government Association 87th session. Today is Tuesday, October 17th. The time is 3 p.m. So first we're going to go over the agenda. So the first order of business today is the agenda, followed by adoption of the previous minutes, followed by quorum, followed by the ODU PD report, followed by old business, Senate Bill 9, Bylaws Reconstruction Phase 3 Additions 2 bill, followed by new business, Resolution 2, Additional Kill and Bus Stop, Resolution 3, Academic Advisor Initiative, Resolution 4, Allergen Labeling, Resolution 5, Joint Resolution, Student Government Elections, Senate Bill 10, the SWL Contingency, Senate Bill 11, Tennis Contingency, Senate Bill 12, Stream Contingency, followed by the President's and Vice President's reports, followed by the Treasurer's report, followed by Chief Justice's report, Senate Committee reports, Advisor's report, Reserve Seat report, public comments, announcements, and then adjournment. Is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator.
I motion to approve the agenda.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the agenda. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? The agenda has been approved. Okay, so the next order of business is the adoption of the previous minutes. Chief of Staff, would you mind bringing those up for me? Thank you. Are there any questions about the previous minutes? They were sent out ahead of time, so they will not be read aloud today. No? Okay, with no questions, the previous minutes have been approved. Today we met quorum at 14, and now we have the ODU PD report.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. We had a guest speaker, but he got held up, so we're going to talk about a little bit what we have tonight, and we do kicking off our first rant tonight, 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Each class is about 4 hours. So like I said, we will take walk-ups and walk-ins if you guys are interested. We spoke about that the last session.
Well, the good news is it's free. That's the good news. It's free. And the other good news is it's actually convenient because it's right here in the Web Center, right on the second floor, ladies. Okay, we expect some of you ladies to be there, hopefully. Now, not so good news is we can only have 30. So after 30, there's a cutoff date. There's a cutoff time. If there is over 30 attendees, what we'll do is set another time frame for the next 30 to attend. Now, if you come early, we'll get you in. All right, we'll get you in. Also, the program we asked you guys about last time we were here.
Oh, yes.
Now, the riding the bus, I think you said ride with the boys in blue or something like that. You don't know what you said? It was pretty awesome. You should have remembered that. Ride with the guys in blue or something to that nature. Me and my partner actually took the video. We're going to get snippets of it and kind of post it. And maybe next time we're here, we'll let you guys look at it too. It's really, you can see the positive energy. You can see the interaction between students and law enforcement. We want to encourage that, and we're just trying to find a nice, good name for it before we submit it to our chief, to our lieutenants, and we need you guys to help us out with that. With that being said, again, guys and ladies, get ready for the Halloween situation coming up. We know usually every Halloween there are some issues with people want to play pranks and things of that nature. Just be careful, be safe, be vigilant, be observant. And of course, you guys do know the number to your police department, right? All right. Are there any questions? Go ahead, Faith.
I want to make sure you know, if for those of you who have masks, you're not allowed to wear a mask as an adult. I think it's, what is it, maybe 10 or 12 and below. So if you have, walking around here with them, or 13, if you have a mask, guys, just please do not wear it. Adults are not allowed to wear a mask. And you might want to, like I said, really think about that, okay? I mean, like I said, I know it's a lot of pranks that go along and stuff like that. But also remember the negative effects of wearing masks as well, because people don't know that you're playing pranks. So we want to err on the side of caution, okay? So please know that as an adult, it is against the law to wear a mask on Halloween, okay? So please, like I was telling a young man right here, you guys are our eyes and ears. We can't reach everybody, but your voice reaches a lot of people. So please make sure that you're telling that and sharing that with your fellow students, okay, guys? And once again, we have Safe Ride. We have escorts, patrol escorts, we have G4S and our security. So please do not hesitate to use them, especially if you're out Halloween night and about. And also know that this Friday, we have a lot going on because we have a football game on Friday. So it's going to be a lot going on Friday, okay? Does anyone have any questions for us? Yes, sir.
What is the age cutoff? here for trick-or-treating?
13.
13.
No, as far as what, trick or treating? I'm not sure on, I'm not
13
sure.
for the city.
I'm not sure
It's a
on.
$65 ticket.
Yeah, I thought it was 13. That's what I said 13.
Yeah, if you get busted, they will give you a ticket.
Look, let me, real quick. I'm not busting people going trick or treating. Okay? That's not what this meeting is about. I'm sorry we kind of got off the rails a little bit. I want you guys to have a good time during Halloween. Enjoy yourselves. Eat
Give
much
us
candy
candy.
and chocolate as you want to. Bring
Bring
some by the
some for us.
station. All right. So please, I don't want anybody to walk out and say they're gonna no. If you guys want to trick or treat and go to your friend's house and kind of interact with each other and eat a little chocolate candy, that's okay. That's all right. Okay, we're not here for that. But you do need to be aware of the city rules and regulations. Just be practical about it. Just make sure you're being reasonable about it. You guys are all intelligent. You know how to use common sense when you're doing these things. Everybody knows it's Halloween. We know it's people out there who are over 13 asking for candy. We understand that. All right. We're not out here trying to bust you, but just be aware, use common sense, and be respectful, and you'll be fine. All right? Any other? Go
Any
ahead.
more
I'm sorry.
questions? No. Any more questions? No?
More concerns?
Concerns? No? Okay.
All right, y'all have
All
a
right,
great day.
thank you.
All right, so the next order of business is old business, Senate Bill 9, the bylaws for construction phase 3 additions to bill. Will the chief sponsor of this bill please come forward?
I yield the floor to Chief Justice Rugg.
Thanks, man. It's been a couple weeks since we've seen this, but I don't want to sit here and go all the way back through the entire PowerPoint if nobody needs that. Is there any questions, or are there any more questions about it from here forward?
Any questions for the co-sponsor of this bill? No? Okay. With no questions, is there a motion on the floor at this time? Perhaps voting? Yes. Thank you, Senator Terry.
Motion to enter voting procedure.
There's a motion on the floor to enter voting procedure. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? Okay, we're now in voting procedure. All in favor of passing this bill, please raise your hand. Any abstains? With 13 yeas and 1 abstain and 0 nays, this bill clearly passes. The next order of business is new business, Resolution 2, additional Killam bus stop. Will the chief sponsor of that bill please come forward at this time?
I yield to the committee chair.
Can you pull it up for me, Tyler? Thanks.
Okay, so this is just the proposal that I presented to Megan Gribble, who works in the Department of Safety and Transportation. Also, I met with a guy named Mark. He's kind of like the financial person in that area. So you can scroll. That's just wording. First page. So the first page is the what. So who is it going, not who's it going to be serving, but what is the purpose of having this additional bus stop added on to Killam? The who is for undergraduate students who live on the side of Highland Park, which is the Killam area. Anybody can take it from that area. It's not just specific to any students. The why we need it, and then scroll down a little bit more, the advantages. So allowing students to catch the bus stop over there. If anybody lives over by Highland Park or has visited that side, it is very far from the other side of campus. I walk it almost every single day. When it rains, I don't want to be walking. I usually drive my car. But you have this option now to do so. The disadvantages, when I met with them, they were actually they really liked the idea, and so they already said that they were kind of rearranging the bus stop area, so this is kind of reaffirming everything. They've thought about it, but they really didn't bring it to fruition until I kind of brought it to them, and so we definitely are getting that. And then scroll down a little bit more. This was a survey that most everybody took. I'm really glad you guys did so. So this was just some of the questions, like fill out your first name, where do you live, if you take the transit. Most students live off campus, so that's just something to know. A lot of students do take the transit. Somebody put other, but that's okay. We still appreciate them. Go down. If you live on the Highland Park side, it kind of varied, because if you live off campus, you kind of live in all the areas of campus a little bit more. And they were, it was yes for adding the bus stop, And for the options, it was both or on 45th. So that's probably where the bus stop is going to go once I meet with Megan. And then scroll down a little bit more. So financial obligation. Don't look at that number because it's not going to be that number. What's going to happen is we're just going to move the bus stop that was by the Berry Arts Area Museum over to 45th Street. So it's not going to cost any extra money coming out of anybody's budget. If it is, they are most likely going to pay for it. If we have to pull something, I will bring that to the floor on a later date and time. And you can scroll down. And then this is just the map of where it's going to be. So this is incorrect, actually. The bus stop is going to get moved from here to right here, where the little star is. And then that's it. You can bring back up the bill, and then I yield the floor back to Jasmine, and she can speak on that.
So basically, here's what we're doing. We're gonna, as you said, try to include the bus stop at either 49th or 35th Street. This addition will make it easier for students who live on that side of the campus to travel.
Are there any questions for the chief sponsor of the bill? Any questions at this time? No? Okay. With no questions, is there a motion on the floor at this time? Perhaps bill to move to second reading status. Yes, Senator Terry.
Motion to move the bill to second reading status.
There's a motion on the floor to move this bill to second reading status. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? Okay, this bill is in second reading status. The next order of business is Resolution 3, Academic Advisor Initiative. Will the chief sponsor of this bill please come forward?
Hey. Got it. Okay, so most of the times when you pick your major or pick a concentration in your major or you change your major, you don't really know who your advisor is. Or if you check DegreeWorks, there's a person listed on there, but that's if you know to check DegreeWorks to find your advisor. So what this resolution is saying is that once a student is assigned a new advisor, that advisor introduces themselves to that student so the student knows who their advisor is.
Are there
any
questions? No questions for the chief sponsor of this bill? If no questions, is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Mayhew.
A motion to move this bill to second reading status.
There's a motion on the floor to move this bill to second reading status. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? This bill is in second reading status. All right, next order of business, Resolution 4, Allergen Labeling. Will the chief sponsor of this bill please come forward?
Hello. So this is all about food allergies and the labeling in Broderick Dining Commons. So if you walk in there and you go get something to eat, there's like it tells you what it is and it tells you how many calories it has in it, but it doesn't tell you what it actually contains. And so we put out a survey that had a couple questions on it, such as do you or somebody you know have a food allergen? And then if so, what is that food allergen? And then do you think that the dining commons would benefit from having a allergy labeling next to each of the different food products that they either like make or serve, or you know? So the results show that there's an extremely high number, like majority of people who have or know someone with a food allergen. So and they're all different kinds of food allergies that came back in the results, and so they all thought that it was a really good idea to have the labeling next to each of the food products. So, any questions?
Are there any questions for the chief sponsor of this bill?
Yeah.
So where's the labeling gonna be, I guess, specifically like on the screen or on the...
Well, we've never really, I guess we didn't decide that part yet, but I think...
Point of information.
Yeah.
Senator,
Point of information. Yeah, so I actually had a meeting with Janet today, and we talked about this, and she said for Broderick, it will most likely be on the screens because that's how they do their menus and labeling there. But for other places, especially at CAF, we're talking about getting little placards made that would go on the glass windows.
There were some exist already for the cookies that have peanut butter in them. They do have some already.
Are there any more questions for the chief sponsor at this time? No further questions. Is there a motion on the floor? Yes, Senator Smith.
Motion to move this bill to second reading status.
This motion on the floor to move this bill to second reading status. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? This bill is now in second reading status. Next order of business, Resolution 5, Joint Resolution Student Government Elections. Will the chief sponsor of this bill please come forward at this time?
I yield the floor to Chief Justice Farley.
Okay, so we're on the home stretch for all these bylaw amendments, I promise. I know I say that every week, but I actually mean it. At some point, I will, I promise. So what this is one of the things I left kind of towards the end, and that we were working on over the summer was how the elections were going to be put together. Every year it kind of seems like it's a rush to put all the election stuff together, and it's a little bit messy sometimes. So what we wanted to do is create a more clear, laid out plan for how elections will go so the Election Commission can actually do what they're supposed to do, which is monitor and govern that stuff. So go ahead, next slide. All right, go ahead. So these are all the things we're going to go through. Seems like a lot, but I promise it's not going to take that long. Go ahead. All right, so one of the major issues is that the Election Commission and election rules were kind of all wrapped up into one big article, and understandably it was so that the Election Commission knew what they were supposed to be governing. What has been done at this point is what I'm proposing is that we separate that into two separate articles, one for the Election Commission, one for elections themselves. What that allows that to do is it helps the Election Commission understand what they're supposed to be governing from the elections article. It'll make it so that they don't have to, there's not as much gray area. It's very defined, it's pretty black and white, and it's pretty step by step. The process up until this point has just kind of been, at some point in spring, we're going to have elections. But at this point now we have definitive time frames of when elections will happen, when people will be applying, when nominations will happen, all of that stuff will be done. Also, their roles in how the Senate fits into elections, how the student body fits into elections, and specifically them. Go ahead. All right, so the Election Commission and their committee are going to be fully responsible for elections every year. Now, what that means by responsible is that they're going to be the ones that are in charge of making sure that people are doing the right thing, that things are put up on, the promotional materials are pushed through Brandy, that people are going to be doing what they're supposed to be doing during election period, that they're not campaigning in the wrong spots, that they're not doing something that would be belittling or demeaning another candidate or anything like that. So I pulled a lot from the UVA bylaws and how they kind of run their elections year to year. So they have what I came up with, because we're a smaller SGA than what they have. I kind of sized some of that down. So the commission would consist of the chairman and 4 commissioners. Those 4 commissioners aren't identified. Now they may be identified after the fact, but during that they're not going to be, because that helps kind of protect that integrity and that no conflict of interest or anything like that during the whole process. They also have a committee. That committee will consist of 4 other people. That committee's job is who works with Brandy. Those are the people that are making sure that events are scheduled, that people are where they're supposed to be, that the debates are going the way they're supposed to be. That's their job. The commissioners, what we have is that the commissioners are not members of SGA. Now, the reason for that, and I did, when I was looking through all the different bylaws of a lot of different schools in Virginia, it was hit and miss on whether or not they had that rule or not. UVA did. People like William and Mary did not. The reason for that would be to help kind of preserve bias. Allow the people that are supposed to be doing that job to do their job without any form of favoritism or anything like that might happen. So, once again, preserving that integrity of the entire system. Go ahead. So the Elections Commission's authority, this is how it would be changed in the bylaws. Some people were asking me to post what it looked like and what exactly I was changing. This is exactly how I do it when I go week to week. I go through and I clip out or I line out what needs to be moved. I make notes, and so this is exactly what it would. If you read through the docs that were sent out for in the email earlier this week, you would see these changes, and then you'd also see one where they're completed and all the changes are removed and everything's formatted correctly. So, go ahead. All right. The member composition is just once again going through what each member is, how they're appointed. The chairman's appointed by a committee of the president, speaker, and the chief justice, confirmed by Senate majority vote. The commissioners are picked by the chairman. Committee members are also picked by the chairman for his committee, or his or her committee. And then your enrollment requirements, the only difference really there was some housekeeping on the name, and then changing it to the 2.5 GPA, which is what we've gone across the board anyway. Go ahead. All right, this addition is for what the appointments have to look like and exactly the stipulations on eligibility for their appointment. Go ahead. Once again, composition of the committee, how the committee will assist, and their appointment as well. Meetings. So the meetings are. There wasn't much that was changed. It was more or less just defining their responsibilities a little bit more in the meeting. They need to keep records, and they need to be able to produce those if anybody challenges it. And the reason for that is that in the event that there's ever a contested vote or anything like that, there can be a record of what the commission was doing before that happened. Go ahead. All right, the duties will be, this is the duties for the chairman, the commissioners, and the committee. The commissioners are the ones that actually do kind of the investigation, and they review any kind of case of violations or any form of any contested votes, stuff like that. So that's more or less what they fall under those articles. Go ahead. All right, nominations. So everybody that wants to run, or anybody that is nominated, in order for them to go forward from there, they have to actually meet the requirements that are spelled out in the bylaws. So the requirements for that position, as spelled out in the bylaws. So also on top of that, they have to meet the requirements for LSI, the student handbook, the student policy, all of that. So it's not just what we do. It's not, you can't just nominate anybody without kind of knowing. You can nominate anybody you want, whenever you want, but it would be in your best interest to not do that unless you know that they're eligible to do that. The other change was that any student may nominate any other student. So the reason for that is how it's written almost entirely across the board at every university, almost nationwide. So it's because many of the positions that we have don't have like a SGA requirement to be to fill those positions, whether it be treasurer, secretary, some of those. You don't have to have been an SGA to fill those. And opening that up will involve the student body more. It will have them have more say in what goes on. It'll let them help nominate the ones that they want to see in those positions. Now, there are some SGA requirements for some of the positions. So again, that goes back to eligibility, but this will allow the student body to have a little bit more of a inclusion into what SGA is doing. Any nominee will be allowed to decline their nomination, and you have to receive a nomination before you can submit an application for the position. Go ahead. All right, applications. The biggest changes are that they're going to open up the first day classes of the spring semester. So the reason this is kind of changing time frame wise is it's going to give a lot more time for campaigning, a lot more time for exposure, more time for the candidate to talk to the student body, for them to be out there listening to what the student body wants and going through what their process is going to be elected. So that way we don't have 2 weeks of quick elections without anybody really ever seeing what's going on. The point is that we represent the student body. We need to let them know that this is what we're doing and we're here to represent them. So allow those candidates to do that. Go out there and get their votes. Go ahead. So candidacy, once again, eligibility. Uncontested candidates will be declared winners once they've hit 51% of all participating votes. So of people voting, they need to grab at least just over half of all the people that are voting in order to still get that position. If they don't, that position actually will be left vacant. You can only rescind your candidacy with a letter of withdrawal, and that will be, you can't do that once voting has started. You can't pull out of the race once all the voting stuff goes up. That only hurts everybody in general. It hurts the students that voted for that person. It hurts the other candidates that are in the poll, and it hurts kind of our process in general. Go ahead. Campaigning. All right, so the campaigning will start no later than the second full academic week of February. What that means is that you're going to be able to campaign for 4 full weeks. That gives you time to talk to the student body. It gives you time to make a video if you want. It gives you time to talk to the student media. It gives you time to talk to administrators. Mostly, it gives you time that if you're nominated and you've applied and you're trying to work towards one of those positions, time to shadow. One of the biggest issues is that we don't really have a lot of shadow time under the current elections cycle. Once somebody has put themselves out there for that, they have 2, maybe 3 weeks before finals kind of start, and some positions are pretty intensive. And if you don't really know what you're doing when you take over that position, it can be a rough transition for you. So this will allow for that to be maximized and allow you to really understand what it is you're doing. Go ahead. All right, campaign expenditures, can't go over $200. Some stuff was added to define what student organizations can contribute. This is something that is in a lot of the bylaws across the state. Just defines that student organizations can't go off and buy stuff for you to put up. They can support you, they can't buy stuff for you. They can't pay for your posters, they can't pay for any other, just because you hit the $200 limit, you can't reach out to student organizations to pay for more stuff for you. You can't do that. Go ahead. All right, debates. So there's going to be a minimum requirement of 2 debates during the campaign period. What that will allow is for you to open up the floor to let students come in and actually watch and hear what it is you have to say as somebody who's campaigning. Again, it brings the student body in more on what's going on with the SGA and what's going on with the body that governs them. All right, so go ahead. All right, voting timeframes, election period. The spring elections will start on the first day of the academic week following the campaign period. So if the campaign, what that means is that if the campaign period, whenever the campaign period ends, the next following business day will be when voting starts. Campaign period is pretty long, so we'll have a pretty good idea of who's going to be on that voting block. So it shouldn't be too bad to have that prepared and ready to go. If that week is during spring break, the election will begin on the next first day of classes, because spring break fluctuates between the first and second week of March. So that 4 weeks of campaigning might end right at where spring break starts. So that's in there to kind of make sure that there's no confusion. We're not going to be voting on spring break. Nobody is going to be checking and doing that. So that'll kind of help with that issue. The polling stations and the voting procedures didn't really change. I just formatted it correctly. Go ahead. All right, election results. The biggest thing is that number 4 here was added just to include everything that will be released to the public. Now what that means is that it'll be released to Mason Crown, to WDU, to the student body, over Monarch Link, however it is that all of that's going to be released. All those results will be released there so that it maximizes to the student body what the voting results were. And also the ties didn't change in policy on that. Go ahead. Special elections. Most of the additions here were just that they're going to follow the new articles. Also that you must allow a minimum of 2 weeks of campaigning for a special election so that people can get into that. And that is the number 1 exception. And that all time frames must be a minimum 1 week, which means voting, application, all of those must be a minimum of 1 week. And that'll be one that the Election Commission kind of controls a little bit more, just because normally that's only for 1 position for the most part. So it'll be something that's smaller for that position. Go ahead. All right, penalties. Some of the things I added, the reduction in votes received, that was something that we had done before. It was something that was allowed to be done before. We just didn't have it specifically identified in there. I just added that in there. Also, impeachment. If you were part of SGA and you got caught doing something really, really bad, obviously that's a consequence. So, go ahead. All right, inauguration. This looks like a lot of red. The number one reason is that when we passed the bylaw, some of the bylaw changes earlier in the year, the Chief Justice is the one that swears everybody in. And a lot of this had said stuff like the Speaker was going to swear people in, the President was going to swear people in, the oath was already reapproved in a previous bill. So I withdrew all that, and that's already in section 4. So it doesn't need to be in this section. Or it's already in Article 4. It doesn't need to be in this article. So that's already part of the duties and responsibilities of the Chief Justice, so we don't really need all of that in there. And then the recess appointment vacancies was just a section that got stuck at the bottom from the Elections Commission. Go ahead. All right, once again, all of my reference points. If you have any questions or anything like that, or you have any concerns, now's the time. Yes.
So if the application is if that opens the first full day of classes in January, would nominations take place in the fall semester?
Yes, nominations, if you can go back for me real quick, back to nominations. Yes, so, yes, so, well, I didn't copy and paste the entire, I missed a section, but there's actually a 5 and a B. So, but yes, the nominations will be in the fall. Also, the election of the commissioner is in the fall. So what it will be is that the election commissioner will be appointed no later than November 1st. That person, if it is not appointed by November 1st by the president, the speaker, and the chief justice, then Senate can appoint the election commissioner at the next Senate meeting, and then all of the nominations happen the first meeting of December.
Okay, so how would the nominations process work if students are able to nominate other students?
So what will be a part of the election commission, and it'll be kind of a little bit up to them on how they want that to run, but the recommendation will be that they can do it one of two ways. They can either have that added to the agenda for nominations for people to come in and nominate during the Senate meeting, during that part of the agenda, or they can have a special session where it would just be for nominations, for people to all come in and do their nominations then. Yes?
Okay, so you said the commissioner would not be part of SGA to make it a little bit more...
The commissioners, the chairman, would be part of SGA.
Okay.
Yes.
You said there's going to be an application for a commissioner, or is there like a certain like...
No, it's just appointed by, it's somebody that's appointed by President, Chief Justice, and Speaker.
Okay.
Or Senate, if they don't appoint it in time.
Okay.
There's not an app, I don't have an application process in there. If that's something that that is wanted, obviously you can have somebody add that.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi, so will there be a time for the, I'm losing my words, the candidates to come in and speak with the Senate before they vote on who's running, if that makes any sense? So it doesn't become like, oh, I know this person because they're at SGA and they've been nominated, so I'm going to vote for them. Granted, not voting for someone who's outside of SGA who's been nominated to run. I don't know if that makes any sense.
So that'll be part of your 4-week campaign period. You'd be allowed to come in and do that before voting started.
No, I'm saying, because doesn't Senate vote for the top 3?
Yes, Senate does vote for the top 3.
So will they be able to come and express why they should become a candidate? So I guess I should have said nominees. Will the nominees have a chance to come and talk to Senate before they vote on who's going to be the candidate?
I would assume that yes. I mean, as long as they schedule that with Andy. I mean, that's something that people can come and do.
Okay, gotcha. And then I also noticed that there's 2 debates during that month period. However, just based on previous years, we already don't have a large turnout outside of SGA attendance at those debates. So is there any way that maybe they could be required to do a tabling during activity hours, since I don't want to do 2 debates and then the same people come in and it just defeats the purpose?
That is something that if you would like to have, by all means, have someone do that. You know that on the debates it does say that it has to be recorded and submitted to the student body. So if it's, it will be video recorded in some way and then posted for the student body.
All right.
Yes.
Can the chairman be appointed from any branch?
There is nothing that governs otherwise, so yes.
Okay.
I did, yeah. All right, so you said that students can nominate other students. Like, they don't have to be in SGA?
Correct.
Or like okay, that's what I need to know.
Okay. The reason for that is that currently only the president and the vice president have any form of requirement to have been in SGA to take their position. And the speaker as well, but her duties are in Article 3, so you don't see that in Article 2. But the treasurer and the secretary do not.
Okay, that makes sense.
Any other questions?
Any other further questions for the chief sponsor of this bill? No? Thank you, Mark. All right, with no further questions, is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator.
A motion to move the bill to a second reading status.
There's a motion on the floor to move this bill to second reading status. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? With no opposition, this bill is now in second reading status. Okay, so next order of business. Let's see. Senate Bill 10 SWL contingency. Will the chief sponsor of this bill please come forward?
All right, I'm going to yield the floor to the representatives from SWL so they can explain their event better.
It's all.
Good evening, good evening. I'm the president. This is my vice president, Nico Williams. So the event that we are trying to have is called Visuals. It's going to be on October 23rd. The purpose of this event is for exposure of artistic talent because we have a lot of different artists on campus, such as photographers and videographers, and we feel as though they don't get a lot of exposure on campus besides, the regular Twitter and, social media pages. So the purpose of the event, basically, we're just going to showcase the different artworks on the television screens, and all we asking from you is we're gonna have mocktails, and it's basically like mixed drinks, non-alcoholic of course. We're just gonna have mixed with soda, juice mixed with soda, and that's all we're really asking for. We're basically gonna supply everything else, the tables, everything else has already been set up.
Okay. Are there any questions for the chief sponsors and the representatives of this bill at this time? No? No questions? Okay, thank you guys. With no questions on the floor, is there a motion at this time? Yes, Senator Herman.
I move to fast track this bill.
There's a motion on the floor to fast track this bill. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? With no opposition, this bill has been fast tracked. Okay, so next order of business, Senate Bill 11, the tennis contingency. Chief sponsor.
All right, I'm gonna yield the floor again to the representative from the Tennis Association.
Hi, I'm Brian. I'm the treasurer. It's the Table Tennis Club.
Yeah, I'm Forrest. I'm the secretary.
So what we're doing is we're having a tournament on October 28th that we've signed up for the NCTTA. It's the National Collegiate Table Tennis Association. And we're going to go on October 28th and play around 8 other schools from Virginia, including Virginia Tech, VCU, UVA, a few others. So what we need is we needed to register for the NCTTA, which cost $250. And there was a $100 late fee that they waived for us, so we only need $250 now for the registration. We also need about $40 in gas together because we're going to bring 8 to 12 people to the tournament.
Yeah, and originally when we budgeted for this year, we didn't know how well we were going to do because it's kind of like a revamped club. So we went and played CNU for just a scrimmage in the middle of the line in the NCTTA for Virginia, and we absolutely destroyed them. So we're trying to fast track it so that we can get to play UVA,
Virginia Tech,
Virginia
VCU,
Tech, Liberty, and it's just coming really fast, so that's why we need the contingency.
The tournament is at Liberty University, so it's about 3 to 4 hours away.
So you only need 290.
Yeah,
290 now.
We got the thing waived.
There was a late fee of $100, but they said they would waive it for us. So that was like a few days ago. So, that's it. Questions?
Are there any further questions for the representatives of this bill? Or the chief sponsor? No? Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks.
All right, so with no further questions on the floor at this time, is there a motion on the floor? Yes, Senator Terry.
Motion to make a friendly amendment just to reflect the actual amount needed from 390 to 290.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to make a friendly amendment to this bill to adjust the price from 390 to 290. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? Okay. Mr. Chief of Staff, can you make that present for me? Are there any other motions on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Herbert.
A motion to fast track this bill.
There's a motion on the floor to fast track this bill. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? If no opposition, this bill has been fast tracked. Okay, so the next order of business is Senate Bill 12, the Strom contingency. Will the chief sponsor? Okay. Yes.
Can I'm going to yield the floor to the representative from the Strom Sales Club.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Ben with the Strom Sales Club. I'm the president, and this is
Rachel, I'm the membership coordinator for Strom Sales Club. Sorry.
Our treasurer could not be here today, so I'm unfortunately a little bit underprepared for this, as I was not told, except for like the last minute kind of. But generally, we are just seeking to get our budget approved, I guess. That's why we're here today. And just for catering for our events and things like that. And yeah, that's generally all I have on that. So I'm not sure where else to go with that.
Are there questions for the representatives at this time? Will the chief sponsor? Yes.
Hi guys, just for clarification, you said you want the budget approved or contingency approved?
That's generally what our treasurer has been working on, and unfortunately he was unable to make it today, and that is generally a question that he would be more approved to answer, I guess.
The contingency is to fund catering and marketing for their Rookie to Pro development event for their budget.
Are there any further questions at this time?
Point of information.
Yes.
This is a contingency that was submitted by their treasurer for their Rookie to Pro event, and they're requesting catering and marketing. It's not a budget, it's a contingency.
Are there any further questions at this time? Yes, Senator Sherry.
When is the event, I guess? November
5th?
5th?
Yeah, it is the second. Because it's on Thursday after Halloween.
Any further questions at this time? Yes, Senator Law.
Is it open to all campus or just the
Yes.
marketing majors?
It's available.
Okay, are there any further questions at this time? No? No further questions? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, if no further questions on the floor, is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Terry.
Motion to move this bill to second reading status.
There's a motion to move this bill to second reading status. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? Okay, with no opposition, this bill is moved to second reading status. All right, so the next order of business is the President's and Vice President's report. Let's start with Jordan.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing? Good. So, first order of business on my report. So next Monday, I do believe it's from 6:30 to 8:30 in the North Cab, is an event that's going to be hosted by the Indian Student Association called Diwali. It's an event that the SGA Executive Board, we have co-sponsored. and it's going to be a very big event. It normally is. That recurs every year, and they're expecting close to 400 people. So it's definitely going to be an event that be worth us or as an organization showing up to. So I'll be there, and several members of the executive board will be there. So I'm looking forward to all of my most of the senators being there as well. Second, a few weeks ago I mentioned that we would be going to a conference in DC in November, the National Conference on Student Leadership. I went 2 years ago and I found the conference extremely useful towards helping me gain leadership skills, and also it helped me improve how I kind of worked as a leader. And the application was reopened on Monarch Link earlier today. So if you're interested in going, please go on Monarch Link following the meeting and apply, because we do have to register very soon, and we want to hurry up and get the people going to registered and getting their train tickets and everything to go up to DC. Third things third, I've been working with OIR to plan an event called Heads of the Family. So basically what the event is, it's a chance for members of the executive board of other student organizations to sit down with one another and to collaborate or talk about collaboration in terms of ways that they can work with one another. And that's kind of something that James and I ran on when we ran together as our platform, was to improve and increase student collaboration between other student organizations. So this is definitely a way that we, James and I and the executive board can accomplish that. And then last things last for me, so also earlier this semester I kind of threw out a recruitment challenge, and I took the person that won to Fellini's. So I'm going to reopen that, except it won't be just for the next few weeks. It's going to be for the rest of the year. So whoever recruits the most people to come to Senate will end up getting a very, very special award. The second place will get an award, but they won't be as grandiose as the first. And same thing for the third place person. So please get people to come out. We are people that serve the student body. So definitely increasing our numbers allows us to do that more effectively. And thanks guys, and have a great rest of your day.
Next order of business is the Vice President's report.
Good afternoon, guys. So we had our second web council meeting today. We went over the web renovations. I was waiting for an email to show you guys, but I don't have it. So next week, I'll show it to you all. We talked about a student fundraising initiative, and so I want to open up the floor to you guys. What are some creative ways to launch a Bridge the Gap Fund campaign? We were thinking of a pep rally or some other stuff. I just wanted to share that with you guys to give me some creative ideas so we can take it back to Dr. Neufeld. Safe Lanes is November 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Me and Jawan, we've been working with scheduling and getting co-sponsorships with Jordan to finalize everything. So we'll have like sign-up sheets coming shortly, and I want to say that's it. What is Safe Lanes? Oh, Safe Lanes is an event that brings awareness to alcohol abuse, but this year we also want to expand it to drug abuse with the help of counseling services and wellness and sustainability. All right.
Next report is the Treasurer's report. Modi report.
Yeah.
Okay.
How's everyone doing today? Yeah. So the last 2 weeks, the executive board and myself have been reviewing co-sponsorship applications. We've approved 3 so far. The Society for Human Resource Management Club was approved for $96. The Kappa Sigma Fraternity was approved for $368. And the Indian Student Association was approved for $133. Currently, we're left at $1,903 left in our co-sponsorship budget. And for this week's exec, I have 1 co-sponsorship pending. Can you please go back 1 slide?
Slide 1.
Oh, back. So the co-sponsorship pending for this week is the Pre-Veterinary Medical Association. Their event's going to be held. They have 3 option dates, but they're trying to aim for around November 12th. They're requesting $711.06. They have about 100 people in attendance for this event. They have a tradition of hosting a petting zoo on campus. They provide students a safe and fun environment to interact with a diverse group of animals. So it seems pretty cool. Next slide, please. Next slide. No, back. Yes. So a lot of directors have been, a lot of payments have been made recently. A lot of stuff has been pending, like I said, 2 weeks ago, but a lot of that stuff has went through now. A lot of the homecoming stuff has been ordered by Randy, and a lot of exam materials have been ordered again also by Isaiah. Our numbers, our amounts used went up from 7,300 to about 8,231.80 is how much we've used so far. And next slide, please. This is a spreadsheet updated from last report, and there's still a couple more transactions pending. But by the end of the month, a lot of the stuff for wintergreen and a lot of things are the big payments are going to be done by the end of the month, hopefully. So that's all I have for today.
Okay, and our next order of business is the Chief Justice report. No report. Okay. And the next one is mine. Who's excited for the fun fact of the week? Woo! So excited. Okay. So the fun fact this week is debate. Woo! All right. So it's officially called debating the question. So basically, like, typically the best time to open the floor for debate would be if there's like a lot of questions about a certain bill and there's like a lot of like angry questions about a bill. And so the way you do it is you raise your hand and you say, I motion to enter a 5-minute debate, for example. And then, if the motion goes through, then Joanne will keep time, and then you'll have 5 minutes. So that the person who motions speaks first, and then like it's like an open conversation kind of. And it's a good way to get like our opinions out there about the bill. And actually, like, the directors are welcome to speak in the debate as well, so it's not just open to senators. So it's a good way to see like different perspectives about things. Yeah, so there's more information on the board in the office. And that's it for my report. So, thank you. Jawan.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Wow. Hey guys.
Hi.
Hello. Alright, so I have a lot of things, but I'm going to make it extremely quick. So I liked seeing new faces today presenting legislation. My man Will. That's great, presenting legislation. I like it. Keep doing that. Next, the legislation workshop I'm shooting for early November. I'm not going to make it a requirement for all senators to attend this one because it's nearing the end of the semester, but I would like for all senators to attend at least one throughout the academic year so you can learn how to write legislation and how to present it. I will have a confirmed date by next week. Next is please remember to have your name badges and your nameplates at Senate. I don't mind walking around giving them to you, but I don't feel like I should have to. So please do that. It's just to keep the professionalism of Senate. If you need a badge, either talk to myself or Madam Speaker Broska. And if you need a nameplate, talk to Secretary Battle, and we will make sure that we get one to you. Specifically to the senators that were just inducted, I know some of you do not have one. I have your name down, and we will get you them as soon as possible. Next. So, about committee chairs. Raise your hand if you're a committee chair. Did you know that you have to do 3 office hours instead of 2?
Yes.
Okay, well, now you know. So, because the week has already started, starting next week, can you please start doing 3 office hours? Right. Fantastic. Thanks. In reference to committee reports, there's a form on Monarch Link for all committee chairs to submit committee reports, and on that committee report is attendance. It is impossible for Andy and I to figure out who is attending their committee meetings if it's not on the report. Also, not every committee is submitting a report. If you do not have a committee chair, it is up to the director to submit a committee report because we really need to know who is going to the meetings so we can hold each other accountable. Thanks. Also, when you record meeting minutes, if you're a committee chair and or a director, please send them out to your committee also, because that is also one of the committee chair duties. Next is senators. Please go to your committee meetings. I'm in the office a lot, and I talk to directors a lot, and I know some of you are not going. So please start going before we have to write infractions, because we don't want that to happen. And last thing is attire at Senate. Our speaker sends out an email around every Saturday or Sunday, and in the email it either says business casual or business professional. Starting next week, if you are not either, you will not be sitting at the table, and that is just to keep the professionalism, because it's not fair for everyone else to have to dress up, if you are not dressed up. And I am very serious about attire. That's all. Have a great week.
Tyler, do you have a report this week? No, okay. Julia, do you have a report?
What's up, everybody? Just a few things. First, I hope y'all had a good break. Got everything like situated because I certainly needed it. So just remember, like the same old thing, just to do your office hours this week. You know, just sign in on the Google Sheet. If you need to be put in on the sheet or have it shared with you, just let me know. Like Jawan said, or just let me know if you need a name template. I'll get you covered. And just to like remind y'all that as a senator, you must attend 2 SGA events per month. So all the events that we're all saying, you know, keep those in mind and like to go to them. And that's it. Yep.
How are you keeping track of which senators attend?
We take note of who's there. Like we write down like who's there.
Wait, was the question committee meetings?
No, how do you keep track of which senators are attending which events since we have to attend to them?
Usually myself or Julian is at an event, and we will keep in contact, so we will know who is there, and I will put it on the Google Drive. So you will know after you attend an event, if for some odd reason you don't know how many events you have attended, it's all in the Google Drive, and it's all shared with you. So look at it.
It is your obligation to go on. Like you have to go to 2 events per month. That is part of your contract. So, are there any other questions? Okay.
I say you have a book. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. All right. Exam Jam will be December 6, 2017 at 5:30 in North Cave. There'll be free massages, yoga, meditation, and food. My committee and I will be meeting with the School of Engineering administrative staff to talk about increasing the amount of summer courses offered for summer session 2019. And I will also be meeting with the Library Learners Commons Committee next Wednesday to talk about increasing the amount of tables and study areas in the library. I would like to also recognize 4 student awards if the representatives from those awards could come up. Okay, the first one is Strong Sales Club. Strong Sales Club serves to increase the skills and ability of students interested in marketing and sales. The next one is Delta Sigma Pi. It's a co-ed professional business fraternity that seeks to provide students with valuable business skills and leadership skills. All right. The next one is Sickle Cell Awareness Pain to Purpose. The mission of SCAP is to spread awareness of the sickle cell disease through educational programming.
Thank you.
And last but not least, showing how we integrate minds. SWIM seeks to create and foster an environment on campus based off diversity and uniting different cultures through unique programming. Will President Smith come up as we take a picture congratulating these awards?
And the next order of business is Dr. Do you report? No? Okay. Next one. Jamila, do you? Jamila's not even
She doesn't
here.
have a report.
Okay, thank you. Next order of business. Courtney, do you report?
Oh yeah, it's real short.
Hey y'all. Hey.
How's everybody doing today? That's good. Yeah. My feet kind of hurt. Just got these new shoes. That's besides the point. Okay, so two things. The first thing is about the parking passes. So I know I discussed that about a couple weeks ago when we talked about the parking passes. So update of how it's going to work going forward. Scott Silsdorf, he is going to be implementing a new procedure starting in the fall of 2018. Your girl won't be here, but some of y'all will. And they're going to be taking away the decals, and they're going to just be scanning the license plates. It's going to take away all that money that they use, because they use a lot of it, and they can use it for other things that the Transportation and Parking Services needs. And so the way to work for like payment, I believe it's going to be like a monthly type of payment that you can do, and you can select that when you go and you choose your parking, so you don't have to pay out of pocket for a whole parking pass if you do not want to. That $248 or that $306 you no longer have to worry about come fall 2018, because that will not be an option. Well, that will be an option if you want it to be, but you also can pay monthly for your parking pass if you do not want to do that as well. So claps for that, options that we have. And then lastly, in the month of November, I'm kind of going to be working primarily with the satellite campuses. I've talked with James about this, and kind of with Provost Ago, and he had an idea to kind of engage the satellite campuses that we had. So if you were here last year, I went out to all the satellite campuses and kind of talked to them about different things that they wanted, and kind of engaging them again. We may be doing something like that. If anybody has any other ideas about how to engage them, please let me know. I'm open to absolutely anything because I kind of have nothing. So help me out with anything that you have. That'll be so great. And yeah, and it's October. It's October, so we're halfway through the fall semester. So please, please, please focus on your grades. The semester is about to end. For those of you graduating in December, congratulations. For those of you still here till the spring, well, see you at graduation. So.
At this time, if you have a 420 class, you may leave. And the next order of business is PR and recruitment.
Alright, this don't even work. That's crazy.
Yeah, just turn it on.
It's off.
It's on.
This whole time it's been off though, that's crazy. So I'm sending around a sheet for contest sign up. There's some names already on there because I had the e-board sign up first, but I'm kind of expecting all of our lovely SGA members to put their name on one of these events. There's different times, different locations, and different things. So please put your name on there. Give me some time to think it over. This is also in the drive, but like I said, hopefully by next week everyone signed up. Improved ODU shirts will arrive this week. Woo!
Yay!
Thanks. I'll be giving them out next week after Senate or before, since I have a 420 class. But if you can't make it to Senate, of course, I'll give them out during my office hours, which is wrong one here. It's 1:30 to 5:30. So if you want to stop by, if you can't come to Senate next week to pick it up, that'd be great. Remember, I'm giving you the shirt size that's on the drive. What else? Senate polos will be ordered this week. Woo! You have a little bit of time left to update your size on the drive if you haven't already. Office decorations have arrived. They're pretty neat. The whiteboard has been ordered for Improve ODU initiatives. Pride Rock painting and Pride Patrol will be next Friday at 2 p.m. They were just talking about how you got to do 2 events a month. If you go to these 2, you're done for the entire month. That's crazy. We'll meet in the SGA office next Friday at 2. We rescheduled the Spirited Campus meeting, so I'll talk about that later. But next week I'll show you the proposal we'll be giving them so you know what's going on. And then my committee meeting is tomorrow at 5:30. Y'all have a great week.
Stephen, your report.
Yes. Okay, cool. So as you saw, the allergen labeling resolution was presented this week, so that's awesome. I've been meeting with Janet and we've been talking about implementing that into the dining halls. Also, Housekeeping Appreciation Day is coming up on the 14th. The thank you cards are here in the office, so I have everything like for the formatting right, so if you're in the office doing office hours and need something to do, on my desk, the cards and the sample letter will be there, so you can just write some thank yous in your free time in the office. Also, yeah, this past week I met with facilities management, Tom McMaddox and Mike Brady, and we talked about Housekeeping Appreciation Day, and I've gotten a list of the staff, so the list will be in there where you can write who it's going to. Also, the Monarch Secret Shopper program, it was approved, and we will be starting that next week. So we'll have our secret shoppers going out and getting feedback from the different dining areas on campus. And that is, oh, also Chris Wynn, Taylor Miles, and Suja, I think some of them left, but I need to talk to y'all after Senate if you're still here. Thank you.
Advisors, do you guys have reports?
I'm representing all of us today. If you could please take your phones or computers out, greatly appreciate it. If you could log on to Monarch Link, that would be fantastic. Once you are logged into Monarch Link, if you go to the home page, first thing you'll see is a poll. The question asks, what is the most effective way students can learn how to become involved with your organization? So I'm assuming, because you're here, that everyone is a part of a student organization, correct? Awesome. What is the best way for your organization to market themselves to increase your membership? So if you could just select one of the options that are listed, submit your vote. My colleagues and I and LSI would greatly appreciate that. Everybody find it?
Yep.
We're good? Very quick, right? Simple, easy, awesome. You should have also received an Google form from Joshua, probably in the last 15-20 minutes. If you could click on that form. The advisors would like for you all to engage in a mid-semester checkup. We just want to check in, see how you all are doing. And there are 4 questions on that form. Can you please complete that? Yes, please.
No.
We want to capture the audience while we have you. If anyone was not on the Google Drive, then you would not have received it. If you don't have it in your email, can you please raise your hand so I could get that to you? So, how are you not on there? No.
I'm not on there.
You're the one that gives out sanctions.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Brianna.
That's fine, I get it.
Did you check the staff account?
Yeah, did you send to staff?
He sent it to whatever email is on the Google Drive.
Okay.
Brianna, do you have a staff account that's listed on there? Barbara? So it's Brianna and Julian.
Excuse me.
I just sent it to you, Julian.
I just got it.
Brianna, did you receive it?
Technically, they're supposed to be
Yes.
It says I don't have permission.
Dang, really?
Yeah, so.
You have to be on your student account.
Yeah, it's on my. You sent it to my student account, not myself.
Oh yeah, it's because you're logged in with your staff. It's because you're logged in with your student.
I mean, you have some time before we get to that anyway. Let me look at it. They're just filled with surprises today.
It is sent to your student.
Yeah. Okay. It's still saying I can't get it.
You have to request permission
Okay.
from Josh.
Okay.
So everybody has received it? We've all taken it? Awesome. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week on purpose.
Okay, thank you, advisors. Reserve seat report. Kevin, do you report this week?
No, I don't.
Okay, Chelsea, is Chelsea here? Chelsea left. Chelsea has class. Will, do you have a report this week?
No.
Okay, and Connor, do you have a report?
I do. I just gotta pull it up.
It's all right, take your time. What's everybody doing? Ready, Connor? All right. Can you come to the podium for me? Yeah, thank you.
So obviously we're having our Halloween Fest on the 28th. I mentioned it before. If you guys aren't aware, it's just it's on Kaufman Mall. It's a little initiative that we're putting forward for local kids in the area, just to have a safe place to trick or treat, get a little bit of extra candy. It's open to everybody. If you guys have kids, nieces, nephews, siblings, they're more welcome to come out. Get some candy, play games, participate in a few activities.
So the next order of business. Okay. Public comments and announcements. Are there any public comments or announcements at this time? Yes, Con.
Brother to Brother is meeting tomorrow at 5 o'clock in this room. If anyone in this room is interested or know anyone who might be, please tell them to come out.
I'm gonna add on to that. It's gonna be in here like every week, so so that we don't have to like bring it up every time. So.
Any public comments or announcements? Yes. Speaker Pro Temp.
Okay. Monarchy Acapella's Winter Showcase is December 1st, and we are looking for organizations to co-sponsor and collaborate with. You can literally be from anything, because there's going to be a big tabling event. So if you want to showcase your organization, let me know like yesterday, so I can let my executive board know. Okay, thanks, bye.
Yes, President Smith.
So Tyler and I glanced over something in our reports, but our first SGA social will be November 11th, and we're super excited for that. So go ahead and mark your calendars.
Yes, what time? Because that's an open house.
It'll be in the evening.
Say less.
Are there any other public comments or announcements at this time? No? Okay. Next order of business is... Alright, so today we had the adoption of the agenda, followed by the adoption of the previous minutes, followed by quorum, which started at 14 and then went to 15 and is now 11, followed by the ODPD report, followed by old business, Senate Bill 9, the Bylaws Reconstruction Phase 3 Additions 2 bill, followed by new business, which included Resolution 2, Resolution 3, Resolution 4, Resolution 5, Senate Bill 10, Senate Bill 11, and Senate Bill 12, followed by the President's and Vice President's reports, followed by the Treasurer's report, followed by the Chief Justice report, Senate Committee reports, Advisor's report, Reserve Seat report, public comments and announcements, and is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Gerber.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion on the floor to adjourn. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? We are now adjourned. We got another special session though. Everybody get up and sit back down. Thanks, guys. Tyler, can you put the special session agenda for me? Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the special session of Old Dominion University Student Government Association 87th Session of Senate. Today is Tuesday, October 17th, 2017. The time is 4:17. So the first order of business today is the adoption of the agenda, followed by quorum, followed by old business, Senate Bill 10, the SWL contingency, followed by Senate Bill 11, the tennis contingency, followed by adjournment. Is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Terry.
Motion to approve the agenda.
The motion on the floor to approve the agenda. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? All right, the agenda's been approved. Today, quorum is at 11. Chief of Staff, can you bring up Senate Bill 10 for me? And will the chief sponsor of this bill please come forward?
Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for the chief sponsor of the bill at this time? No? With no questions, is there a motion on the floor? Yes, Senator Terry.
Motion to enter voting procedure.
There's a motion on the floor to enter voting procedure. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? Okay. We're now in voting procedure. All in favor of passing this bill, please raise your hand nice and high for me. 7, 9. All opposed? Any abstains?
Abstain, I'm just gonna.
Abstains. Okay. So with 9 yeas, 2 abstains, and 0 nays, this bill clearly passes. Okay. Next order of business, Senate Bill 11. Senate Bill 11. Will the chief sponsor of this bill please come forward?
They're not here. Okay.
So, okay, hold on. Okay, so because the organization has left, I'm going to request that somebody tables this bill back to committee for a week, just because they're not here. Okay.
Point of information, that's not the reason you're tabling. The reason you're tabling is because they came up with new numbers
Yeah.
throughout it, and they had
Well, that's
stuff that
what
was changed,
That's
that needs to be
what
corrected before it can go forward.
Yes, Senator Carmen.
I motion to table this bill back to committee.
There's a motion on the floor to table this bill back to committee for a week. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? No opposition, this bill has been tabled. Okay. So today, we went over the adoption of the agenda, followed by quorum, which was 11, followed by old business, Senate Bill 10, and Senate Bill 11. Is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Simpson.
I move to adjourn.
There's a motion on the floor to adjourn. Is there a second? Any opposition? We are now adjourned.
The most I can do.